has changed. Still got my number, still got my name. Tell everybody I'm back in the game. This is my time, faster than ever, hungry and I'm going to come back and take what is mine, bigger and better. It's a new dawn, it's a new day. Some things are different but nothing has changed. Still got my number, still got my name. Tell everybody I'm back in the game. Saddle, cut to the chase. I ain't somebody who stays in one place. Ready to go, I'm coming to play. You better know I still got something to say. It's a new dawn, it's a new day. Some things are different but nothing has changed. Still got my number, still got my name. Tell everybody I'm back in the game. match I couldn't handle. No one else could ever hold a candle. Get ready for a battle, cause you know that I was born for this. I was born for this. Never met a match I couldn't handle. No one else could ever hold a candle. Get ready for a battle, cause you know I was born. I tell you I was born for this. Ain't nothing gonna stop me now. I was born for this.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Wednesday night short track racing action here on LSRTV as the drivers are coming to Virginia for South Boston, as the drivers are practicing currently right now. Less than 5 minutes to go before we get to qualifying action here for that of the Crown Jewel LMSC series here tonight, as it's round number 4. It was a madhouse last week as they were at New Smyrna for that of the triple 35s. 3 races, 35 laps each. We got to see some amazing racing action to start out the season, but we're not doing 3 races here tonight. We're doing one 200-lap featured event where money is on the line, over $300 in total, and for the winner, they get $150. Second gets $100, third gets $50, and in just a few moments when qualifying starts, the pull award, $10 on the line to be grabbed there. But to give you all the action here tonight, my name is Sam Dyer. With me is Wesley Outland, and Charles Wooten will be our producer here this evening in LSR TV studios. Wesley, thanks for stepping in and joining us this evening. South Boston, our destination for week number 2.
Man, you gotta love South Boston. You know, this facility, nicknamed America's hometown track. You get ready for the SRX Racing Series. They're coming there in June or July of this year. You got a lot of cool things that are leading up to a fun time. And Samuel, this is a special track for me, man. When I was a kid growing up, even before I became an announcer as a broadcaster for 26 years, I went to South Boston Speedway. I remember sitting out in the dead of the heat. I remember watching the Pepsi 400 at Daytona as a kid whenever they used to run it at 10 o'clock in the morning on television, and then driving all day long in a scorcher. Didn't matter what day it was. July 4th, the sun, the heat, South Boston Speedway, fun racetrack, fun times here tonight.
And we might be seeing explosions like that. Drivers have been maximizing on the wrecks that they could have. We've seen some big ones, but who knows how big they're going to be for themselves. As we take a look here tonight, 200 laps for these drivers. Here's the keys to victory that we're getting ourselves for. Tires will be a factor for this race. Now, last week, Wesley, the tires weren't a thing for these drivers. They had to work with one set for each race. They only had one set to work with for the 3 that they ran last week. But here tonight, 200 laps, they have one set of tires, but they can only use that set in either stage 1 or stage 2 cautions. If they use it at any point during a regular caution that isn't the stage break, they get an end of the line penalty at the end of the race. These are penalties they don't want to be grabbing, as well as it's going to be a 200 lap in length race for our second key. So these drivers, they've got to be patient. They've got to be smart with those passes. Don't want to be making any major mistakes. And Wesley, our third, that's probably going to be the biggest key tonight.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously, you know, as you mentioned, 200 laps a long race to elaborate the first 2 keys to victory. And as you said, last week at New Smyrna, triple 35s. I mean, I know there was a race that was cut short in race 2 on the efforts of trying to save fuel or not run out of fuel. But obviously, with these stage breaks, take advantage. And this is daytime. I'm not sure if this will be a daytime race or nighttime. It looks like it's in daytime conditions, so that's something else that's going to be crucial on tires. And then, of course, I think it's important, Samuel, avoid the wrecks that will be happening. And I would say the big wreck, because I think a big wreck could be looming, but you got to protect your engine from damage. So remember, if you get into any type of serious hits on the wall, you get any damage on that car, if it's a big enough hit, you're going to damage the engine, and you're pretty much going to be out of round 2 of the Crown Jewel E Late Model Stock Series at South Boston.
Yeah, there's going to be no fast repairs, so you do not want to be caught making any mistakes here. But here's our race information for tonight. We're getting ready for qualifying for our featured race. It's going to be 200 laps. It's a fixed setup. Everyone's going to be on equal footing. It's all about driver skill. No fast repair like I just noted on. And the stage breaks. Lap 55 and 110. Those are going to be big markers for these drivers because that's all on the line on how well you're going to be able to pick and choose when you want to use those tires to use it in the first half of the race or the second. And then also random that invert for qualifying. We don't know what position it's going to start to invert, but it's first all the way back to some number that we're going to see those drivers get inverted.
And again, the money. It's all about the money, right? Come on now, Samuel. $150 to win? That'll make people do some crazy things.
I think every single money race we've watched, it has gone down to that final lap, someone making a bold move, trying to wreck another driver, and who knows, it could happen here tonight. Again, it is the Crown Jewel LMSC series here tonight. This is week number 2 as we're here at South Boston Speedway. Practice is coming to a close. Qualifying about to start for these drivers, and a little bit different, Wesley, from our traditional qualifying. They're gonna have 10 minutes, but each driver gonna have 4 laps to see how fast they can put down. Of one of those 4 laps, whatever this is the fastest, will get that pole position. And if you get the pole award, you get an extra $10 into your pocket.
So you go from a 4/10 mile track, if you will, just at under half a mile at South Boston Speedway with the best of 4 qualifying laps. Shades of what we did on Sunday night, Samuel, for the major series in the Indy 500-mile race, where there was 4 laps in qualification for bump qualifying on a 2.5 mile. I prefer the latter here.
Yeah, it's not about the average of those 4 laps. It's about whatever one is your fastest. And here for Ty Leclerc in this 2:33 machine, hoping for a better day here. Last week was not a good start for the season for this 2:33 machine, but Leclerc certainly showed promise at that of New Smyrna. But here at South Boston, slightly different of a track for these drivers, Wesley. And like you said, you've been here, you've seen this track in person. I mean, what are the characteristics that these drivers are tackling here tonight?
You know, you're watching these virtual machines work their way around the racetrack, and I'm kind of watching the way that they're wheeling and dealing in these cars, the way they're running this line as we see now. Ty Leclerc works in his way around the speedway. You got to help me there, Samuel. That is a pretty pretty interesting name there.
It's a different one for sure. It's Leclerc for his name.
So I'm just going to say Leclerc then. Tyler Leclerc. So AIR is gone, but that's Leclerc and the 233. And Ty Leclerc just finishing up. And you know what's so cool about these cars, Samuel? You got the late model stock bodies. You got the Chevrolet Monte Carlo bodies. Everybody's on the same car, the same engine package. It's all about what you do on your setup, how you handle things. But I love the wrap jobs on these cars. It makes these guys show their character, their caliber. You see Williamson's car. You see the Ford Mustang now of Sean English. All these guys have got some pretty nice looking cars here.
Yeah, I mean, Shane Williamson might be wondering why he was hopping back and forth. Well, he was trying to maximize his speed and his grip. A little bit of what we call cheesing the system of trying to maximize and get the much heat in those tires to maximize your laps. And so for that 53, we'll see if we can get a full time. But here's John Jones for this 38. And for John, another one of those drivers that, you know, we saw about half this field run last week. The other half, actually, we're not here. And here is going to be that Brinkley, who was not here last week, a driver that we're going to get a taste of what type of speed and competition this 12 is going to bring here tonight, as lap 1 going to be down. And for this Brinkley, going to be 15 currently on the board.
Hey, and Samuel, by the way, this is a good friend of mine. The driver of the number 12, Carolina Brokerage entry number 12 out of Sanford, North Carolina. He's also the 2021 late model champion at Caraway Speedway. You think of his father, Brad Brinkley. You think of also his other up-and-coming family member, Bryson Brinkley. This is an awesome driver here. That's a real racer right there.
Yeah, a lot of these drivers, real racers that are coming from a lot of different areas and aspects. Here's going to be that of Rocky Boyd, going to be putting it in the pits. Rocky Boyd not coming in with the most confidence into this week. was hearing from that 116. The top was really in the Discord chat, talking to a lot of the drivers. Felt like he was probably going to be one of the weakest drivers here tonight. He's hoping to kind of shock the world with a certain speed that he can put down. But yeah, I mean, that's the fun thing about these short track races in series, Wesley. You never know who's going to show up. And most of the time, these drivers are real life racers. They hop on the sim trying to go for that cash. And here's a driver that thought he was going to get to victory lane last week at New Smyrna. Alex McCollum, probably one of the top 3 fastest cars last week, never got to victory lane. Actually was caught up in some controversy between himself and that of Curl that we saw last week. And those two drivers made a lot of contact, purposely wrecked one another. And we'll see how well they can clean things up here tonight as that of Alex McCollum starts on his qualifying.
Yeah, New Smyrna Speedway was rather interesting last week. I believe I saw Dustin Marquette get 2 wins of the 3 races, and the second race, as I mentioned, was a wreck fest. They decided to make it a 30-lap feature to try to help save fuel for cars not to run out of fuel in the end. And never count out New Jersey's Alex McCollum here, man. This guy's a talent in the number 8 machine. I've followed him for a number of years here in the sim world, especially since the pandemic, and he's going to be somebody you got to keep an eye on. It's Alex McCollum from New Jersey on this racetrack. And here comes now Brett Suggs. And again, this is a driver, Samuel, that moved up from the Summer Shootout Series of Legends and Bandoleros, the Allison Legacy cars. Brett Suggs on the speedway there in the number 63.
Suggs had a really good performance last week, really a driver that I'm expecting to have a top 5, top 10 performance here tonight, as this is going to be Timmy Holmes. Again, these drivers doing a little bit of an odd strategy. They're holding they're what we call dragging the brakes. They're holding on the brakes. They're weaving back and forth. What they're trying to do is heat up those brakes, heat up the tires, so they got the maximum amount of grip possible, so they're not slipping and sliding on these qualifying laps, and they can try to go beat out that of Alex McCollum, who put down a 15.564 for his lap time. Here comes Timmy Holmes in the 67.
Yeah, Timmy Holmes now working his way on the racetrack. We'll see what he can do here in the 67 car. As all these drivers working their way on the clock. Timmy Holmes out of Conway, South Carolina, by the way, 14 years old in his Chevrolet entry. Of course, Premier Racing Setups and Motec on the sponsor of the machine there. Timmy Holmes now. Here comes now James Curl. James Curl in car number 26. We'll see what kind of lap he puts down now, Samuel, around the racetrack. As, by the way, the clock is closing in. We're under 5 minutes remaining in the qualifying of the 10-minute window.
And right now, Alex McCollum's going to be top of the board, but I talked about the drama. Alex McCollum, James Curl, these are the 2 drivers that all week we were concerned, what drama are they going to carry over from New Smyrna over here to South Boston? And right now, for that 26 machine, first lap, going to be 11th on the board. We'll see if we can get back out there on track. Here's Justin Brooks, another driver that was looking quick during this week, was one of the fastest drivers during practice. And we'll see if we're going to see that 33 machine be up front any later on. And here's going to be that of Ryan Kuhn in the 72, starting his lap time, getting up to speed.
Ryan Kuhn, another one of those real racers in that Chevrolet Monte Carlo Everett's entry. Chevrolet, we'll see what he can do here. I met Ryan Kuhn a couple of years ago, a matter of fact, Samuel, down at the Snowball Derby. He's another one of those drivers that have been running in the late models, the limited programs, moved up into the late model program. And I'll say this, you think of the Brooks, you think of the Suggs, you think of the Brinkleys, you think of the Kuhns, the McCollums, real racers, Samuel, taking advantage of this crown jewel late model stock series to, and believe it or not, it can help them when they run big races like this. Big races this year at South Boston, Martinsville, New Smyrna, obviously Southern National, the 50,000 to win, Thanksgiving Classic, so many other events, Martinsville, the Valley Star 300. This virtual sim can help them, I believe, in get some notes to be ready for the real race coming up at the end of the years.
Yeah, it also gives you a lot of understanding on how to race around. Drivers are going to be over-aggressive at times. That was the big note of last week, was drivers just, after the first race, it seemed pretty clean. Drivers were getting over-aggressive, were throwing away their races, getting a little bit too hot and tempered. But those were 3 35-lap races. It was very controlled, quick. You had to be intense for those quick 35 laps. Here tonight, though, Wesley, 200 laps. It's a long race. I'm expecting these drivers to have a little bit of a cooler temper until we get to those final 50 laps of tonight's featured race.
And it looks like, honestly, Samuel, by the looks of the qualifying here done, there's 30 entries that are signed in. I'm thinking, actually, correction, one is race control with Caleb Hall up in the Commonwealth of Virginia handling race control. So 29 cars are getting ready to go here for 200 laps. It should be fun. The stage races, I think, is going to be something that's going to be interesting in the race. Obviously, you're going to have to see these drivers conserve tires. They're going to have to be a little less aggressive than you would be. But again, this is an aggressive racetrack here at South Boston Speedway. It just breathes and it just infests on great destruction, calamity, bumping, banging at its finest here at America's hometown track, Samuel. I think we're going to see that here coming up next.
That we really are. And also, again, like we were looking at our race information, the drivers are in their final minute of qualifying. The majority of drivers have already finished with their qualifying, and it's Alex McCullum in the 8 on top of the board, looking like he's going to be grabbing our Premier Racing Setup pull award and getting a quick $10 in his pocket. And for that 8 machine, this is when things are going to get a little interesting, because for these drivers, they do not know where the invert is going to be. So for Alex McCullum, yes, he qualified up front. He showed that he's got the fastest car here during qualifying by himself, but now he's going to be mired back in traffic, and we don't know even how far he's going to have to be falling back to.
Should be exciting and fun here. By the way, this track built back in 1957. So if you think about the history of racing and stock car racing in general, Samuel, here's something to ponder on. This track in 1957 was built. Charlotte Motor Speedway, Darlington Raceway, real NASCAR tracks were not built until the 60s. So this is why there's so much heritage and so much homage to this facility at South Boston Speedway. The same could be said just down the road at Bowman Gray Stadium. Of course, the Madhouse, built in 1948. This is just awesome racing facility here. This is an awesome track here at South Boston. It breeds excitement, like I said. We're going to have a fun time here tonight.
It is going to be an amazing time, as we are going to be going into a quick little intermission for ourselves. We're going to be right back. When we come back, we're going to be getting ourselves prepared for the featured event here tonight, for that Crown Jewel LMSC series here tonight. Short track racing action. It's the Virginia Triple Crown, 200 laps here at South Boston. Where will the drivers lie? We know Alex McCullum got the pole award. When we come back, we'll see where the invert was. Where will Alex McCullum start? All those questions will be answered in just a few moments. We'll be back in just a few. Thank you for being patient with us as we are getting this session up, ladies and gentlemen, as we are here on LSRTV, giving you coverage of the Crown Jewel LMSC Series short track racing action on that of Wednesday night action as the drivers here for week number 2 at South Boston for the Virginia Triple Crown. My name is Sam Dyer. With me is Wesley Outland. We've also got LSRTV Studios giving you all the great pictures and graphics here this evening. Wesley, qualifying just got concluded a few minutes ago. We're now getting prepared for our 200-lap featured event here tonight. We got less than 4.5 minutes to go. What are some of the things that you're excited to see here tonight, as this is only week number 2 for these drivers?
So here's the cool thing, Samuel. The only time you really ever see the opportunity for late model stage racing is probably when we go to the Valley Star 300, which will be the, penultimate race of the regular season in this Crown Jewel E late model stock series. South Boston normally runs like twin 75s, or they run like, 150 lappers or 100 lappers. That's it. This is 200 laps. So dock on another 50 laps compared to the racing distance usual, and you're going to have to figure out a way to be consistent on being on strategy-wise, saving your tires, saving your fuel, and all the while also being as competitive as you can to race with these guys that are fellow racers around you. I think those scenarios, those keys to that race that we showed earlier, and maybe we can show them again, those are going to be the fundamentals of making it to the finish line and winning this race here tonight at South Boston. Mind you, we are tonight, it's a daytime event in the iRacing sim, and I think that's also going to be a very big factor. Handling, the way the handling setup is on the car, Samuel, but also for the tires.
Yeah, that's going to be a big thing for these drivers. That's the first key. Tires. They only have one set to work with through this whole entire 200-lap event, and the only time they can come in to grab that extra set is during the stage breaks on lap 55 or lap 110 when we get those breaks. But this is a long race like we see here for our second key victory. You got to be patient. Make smart moves. This is going to be a one-lane course for the majority of the night, but we're going to see opportunities of drivers giving a little bit of a bump here or there. Don't want to throw away their races and throw away yours as there's no fast repairs, and that's why we get to key number 3, avoid the wrecks and make sure that engine is happy. As we take a look at our race information, we saw it at the beginning of the broadcast, but it is 200 laps. Fixed setup, meaning everyone is running the same exact setup on their car. You can't make any big adjustments. You are stuck with what everyone else has. The only adjustments you can make are steering ratios, meaning how much you turn your wheel in the sim is how much your tires will turn in sim. You can lower it, you can higher it, ways to save your tires on the long run or be fast on the short run, as well as brake bias. Those are the only 2 things you can change, and the drivers are stuck with everything else. No fast repairs, like I noted on stage breaks, lap 55, lap 110. But the random invert for qualifying, we didn't know during qualifying, but we know now. Wesley, our top 10 got inverted. Brett Suggs, gonna be our pole driver here when we go green.
That basically Alex McCollum has been moved to the outside of row number 5. He'll now be in the number 10 spot. Brett Suggs, my friend out of Mooresville, North Carolina, from the Legend Cars and the Allison Legacy Series, has moved into the number 1 starting position. And remember, Samuel, also something we can think about as a saving grace, caution laps do count if there is a number of yellow flags. Hopefully we see more racing than cautions, but if there is, the caution laps will count to try to get this race to go by faster as well.
Yeah, and you also noted on it, weather, the heat is going to be something for the drivers, on top of the fact that with those caution laps not with them counting, meaning we can just find these drivers really with a lot of comfort in knowing that their fuel should be good to make it. But that heat, it is hot here at that of South Boston, as it's 84 degrees air temp, a little bit of wind that the drivers are dealing with, that 10 miles per hour. But Wesley, you freaked out. Also, our producer, you didn't hear, he's freaking out. 133 for Fahrenheit on track temp. It's a scorcher. Why not go grab an egg and cook on this surface with how hot it is?
Samuel, as long as I have been an iRacing broadcaster in the virtual sim, I think that is the hottest track temperature conditions I have ever seen for a racetrack.
And I mean, this is what's going to make these drivers how skilled they are, and why this is such a great series to watch is with it being this hot. It's going to be slick. It's going to feel, you know, a little ironic, but it's so hot. It's slick out there. It's going to feel like you're in ice skates on moments, because when you get into the throttle, this car's going to want to slip and slide on the exit. It is going to be a handful all night long, 200 laps. And we're ready to get you the coverage here as drivers getting onto the grid, getting prepared to get going here tonight, as it's the Virginia Triple Crown here at South Boston. Drivers got done with qualifying. They had to wait to see when the session was going to pop up. It's up. We got the invert. It's our top 10. They got swapped around, and it's Brett Suggs taking now the pole position up front, with that of Shane Williamson gonna be to his outside for that 53. Then our two-time winner this season, Dustin Marquette, gonna be the inside of row number 2, with that of Josh Cottle to the outside for the 13. Row number 3, gonna be Magnum Tate in the 5, with that of Austin Thiel gonna be up in that 09 to the outside of row 3. Row 4, it's gonna be that of Sean English, as well as that of Justin Brooks in the 33. And this is where originally the starting row is going to be. It's Ryan Kuhn, Alex McCullum. They're going to be all the way back in row number 5.
Yeah, remember the invert is 10. James Curl will start inside row 6, 11th and 26. 12 starter the 95 of Dalton Collins. Row 7 on the grid, Jake Silva the 78. Alex Gravitz in the number 9. Row number 8, filled rolls. Going to be Drew Cox in the 98. 2 preliminary laps because of the size of the track. Connor Jones in 14. Row number 9, we'll find Rocky Boyd the 3rd in the 116. Bradley Wilson in 51. Top 20, row 10, Brad Carpenter, and the 2021 Caraway Speedway late model champion, Blaze Brinkley in the 12, starts 20th.
Now back in row number 11, it's Jacob Hayes, as well as Devin Schickelberg is going to be out in that of the 07, as well as that of Ty Leclerc and Bryce Speedy in the 7 machine. Then we're going to have Preston DeMello, as well as that of Colin, that of Roberts going to be out in that 27. And that is going to be our 26 drivers. We got race control ready. The drivers are getting ready. And Wesley, hopefully you're ready, because we're about to go green for 200 laps here at South Boston. Who's going to get it done for the Virginia Triple Crown? It's the Crown Jewel LMSC Series here tonight. Wednesday night short track racing action. Pace truck is off, and we're ready to go short track racing here at South Boston. We're green here tonight.
Just like so many other great starts on a Saturday night at America's hometown track, the same can be said in the virtual sim. Ladies and gentlemen, you have a race and 30-plus thundering late models roar in their virtual kaleidoscope of colors off turn 4 in lap 1.
It's going to be that of Williamson in 53, going to take that early lead lap number 1, but it's Dustin Marquette to the inside, going for second place, the 16. So dominant last week, winning 2 out of the 3 short races we had at New Smyrna. But he wants to get up front quick as it's side-by-side action for that 4th place.
2 laps in now, Williamson is the man. Now getting some company by Marquette and Suggs falling back to 3rd. Here comes Cottle and Tate now. That battle's going on for position. Tate and Cottle, 13 and 5. That battle goes on behind Suggs, back to 1.
They're all going to be stacking up. This is all the drivers from fit on back, just on top of one another, all squeezing for every position. And that inner lane is where you're going to be feeling the most preferred here in the early going. But watch out, they're going to get a little sideways, squeezing on one another on the exit. That's going to be the trouble point until everyone gets single file.
And the Crown Jewel E-Late Model Stock Car Series drivers having a lot of respect here so far in the early going. You can see where drivers are fighting for 2 lanes in a single lane here at the racetrack. A little bit of give and take also here, Samuel. So that's something we're going to keep an eye on here in the early going, but eventually that is going to dissolve when the race moves in now. Lap number 5, Williamson leads them off turn 4.
Yeah, and they're going to be finding themselves, Williamson, loving the fact that everyone else is getting so racy behind them, because that's just gifting them so much space to just try to pull away as we're hopping on board with Alex Gratz in the 9. But quick yellow strikes further back. Issues for a couple of our drivers off of that at turn number 2.
Now the yellow flag will fly over the flag stand here in South Boston quickly in the opening 10 laps. It's lap number 7, working lap 8. Caution out for the first time in this 200-lap event. We get ready to track her down and find out what happened. And look at this car in reverse, the 16. Is that the 116 of Boyd? I believe it is.
It is.
No.
Boyd getting himself a little out of sorts there. He was involved with the wreck. The big wreck, though, the catalyst from that of Drew Cox in the 98 is going to be the driver that we look out for. And, you know, for the majority of these drivers, again, this happens on lap number 7 as we take a look here at our replay. Watch out for the 98, blue and white. We're going to be watching out for a little bit of contact here, Wesley, into turn 2, where drivers just getting a little bit overzealous, attacking one another, and this is why Rocky Boyd got spun around.
Oh my goodness, wow, worse for wear. Look at what happened in the back there. Rocky Boyd, he actually kind of got lucky. We might need to zoom in and follow what happened to the 98 car from there, because he's the one that kind of collected another car that got airborne. Wow.
Yeah, drivers getting on top of one another. As we're seeing, get another look here, is there's the contact initially as drivers are getting testy, trying to gain every position possible, already on top of one another. And yeah, this is going to be the 98 of Drew Cox. It's just going to be riding along for himself. That's going to be Connor Jones, the 14 behind him. Just gets too aggressive, digs in too deep, wasn't able to get on the brakes. But then the aftermath overcorrects it back into the 12.
And there's that inside crossover wall. And oh man, they collected my buddy Blaze Brinkley there in the Carolina Brokerage number 12 machine. Nowhere for him to go right there at the crossover gate. And well, I wonder how much damage is going to be on the number 12 of Blaze Brinkley. You remember, there's no fast repairs.
Yeah, no fast repairs, but these late model machines here, Wesley, they are built like tanks. They can take a beating. They can take a lot. And that was the one thing that kind of was surprising Justin and myself a lot last week, was the fact that these cars were taking so much. And here's the fun thing, Wesley. You saw there was a car just sitting. That's the race control vehicle. And that driver is our choose cone. That is a rule that is now implemented. We saw it last week, had a little bit of complications of drivers running into the choose cone, quote unquote, with the choose car. Luckily here tonight, they figured, hey, let's slow down when we go by the car so we don't run it over.
Choose car, choose cone. Somebody just lost the handle there. Let's get back rolling again.
That's actually going to be, that's the choose car itself that's finally getting rolling. It'll move into the pit road as we're getting ready.
Okay.
So you go green. It's actually on the back of that car.
What is this, Samuel? What is it that I just saw?
That is the choose, quote unquote, cone. How in short track racing, you're able to choose which lane you want to be in at the start. They put the rule here for that of the Crown Jewel LMSC.
So that car comes out at the end of a caution before the one to go. Basically, that's how the drivers pick and choose inside or outside. I get it. I like it. That's unique.
Yeah, it gives these drivers an opportunity to have a little bit of choice in where they're going to be. As the pace truck pulls off, it's time to go green flag racing once again. Williamson going to be taken off immediately, which puts that of Josh Connell. Marquette side by side at a 2.
And remember, caution flags do count here. They're in stage number 1 now, but Williamson leading side by side. Marquette 2 wins already on the Crown Jewel Series this year from New Smyrna. He now gets passed by Connell. Tate sucks back in the top 5. He's got a 3-car battle around him out of 2.
And the driver we're seeing trying to climb his way through this field, only been able to move up 2 positions. Alex McCullum in that 8. He's trying to move up by that of Teal, and he might find that opening finally, but he's got to hope that Brooks in the 33 gets his white and red machine moving as well, as everyone stacked up. This is 5th on back, side by side.
What a battle going on there for that spot. Sucks up there. Whoa, up at the hill. Teal in trouble. Losing ground, stalls the car, caution out, second time, then he rolls away. Normally at short tracks across America, Samuel, you do that and you get a black flag for that, because that's intentionally bringing out the yellow flag where I come from. Second caution out for Teal there in turn 3.
I think the big thing also is just trying to get out of the way. He was in such a bad spot. If he kept on rolling, there was a chance it could have been a lot bigger than what could have happened. As you see there, the 9 gets bobbled up, then comes to a complete stop. And, you know, yes, you hate to see the yellow come out, but if anything, I'd rather see the yellow come out, Wesley, than seeing the whole entire field being taken out by a wreck that probably shouldn't have happened.
Yeah, that's true. But I will say this, though. I still think they'll had some room up on the outside lane. I mean, yeah, we saw him get squirmy there for a second, but then once everybody kind of saw that, they hugged the bottom of the racetrack to the inside. I think he didn't have to stop, if you ask me, but it is what it is. And the caution is out here for the second time.
I mean, that's kind of on our keys of victory, right? Of, hey, make some smart moves, decisions. Hey, let's save that car. Already got bumped out of the way. Not ruin anyone else's day, which also is going to give Drew Cox an opportunity. As you see there, driver around the pace car, going to get back on the lead lap is the 98, leaving us with 24 drivers on the lead lap. Do want to give a note of one of the drivers that's out of this race. That of Bradley Wilson in the 51 has officially called it a night and has parked it, as we do have that going to be seeing that at Brinkley going to be still in pit road getting repairs done. Going to be 2 laps down is the 12 heavily damaged, as that of Shane Williamson going to be still up front for the 53. But Wesley, I mean, 20 laps in, still got a lot of racing to go, but we've seen some good competition from that 10th place up to 5th. A lot of side-by-side action. Question is, when is the tempers going to fly for these drivers like it did last week?
Yeah, you know, oh, here we go. There's the choose car. Inside, outside, inside, outside. And this is what I love about the choose car, the choose cone, if you will. At short tracks across America, Samuel, they use them in dirt and pavement. Basically, that choose car or choose cone, you can go to the inside. Let's say everybody goes to the inside. The top 10 cars go to the inside. Well, then you go to the 11th place car, Sean English. Okay, if he says I'm going to be on the outside, then he can literally battle alongside Shane Williamson, and he can be the guy that can say, if I get a green flag and I can be aggressive enough, Samuel, I'm racing within the top 5, racing within the leader. I can win this thing. That's what's so exciting about the choose rule.
Giving big opportunities to drivers and chances to place themselves, as with all the changing and drivers picking and choosing where they wanted to be, Dustin Mummerket going to be back in 5th place. He's actually going to be that 3rd car on the inside. Interesting to see the 16 losing all that ground, but it's Magnum Tate in the 5. He'll be the driver on the outer lane with that of Justin Brooks as well, following the 5 machine. But Wilson, he got the lead in the first lap. He wants to hold on to it. It's worked great once again. Going into turn number 1, 23 laps in of 200.
Williamson already opens it up about 2 car lengths back from Tate and Cottle. Brooks and Mummerket side by side. So is also Greats and Suggs. Silva falling back with McCollum and English. The top 10 roar back to turn 1.
It's going to be Cottle and Tate. They're going to be right on top of one another, side by side for that 2nd place position. Then also going to be side by side is going to be the 16 and that white and gold Mummerket with the 9. Going to be to his outside. That red Greats coming in with some strength. But everyone from that 6th on back still side by side on top of one another. And our leader Williamson, he's loving it. He's pulling away as that Cottle and Tate kick it away.
Yeah, Williamson says, you guys going to do that. I'm just going to set sail here and take advantage of the clean air in front of me for the time being, because that's going to diminish here within probably less than the next 10 laps or so, Samuel. Carl Williamson, big lead for him. Tate Cottle, and that battle continues there. You're on board with that driver going on as they work out of turn 4. This is Cottle under attack now.
Cottle and Tate still side by side. That's why Cottle's not able to really drift up to that outer wall. He's trapped currently. And that of Justin Brooks, he's got to pick and choose who he wants to try to assist on the straightaway. Does he want to give a bump? He's got to be patient. And also, Wesley, we are now coming to halfway through stage number 1. Stage break at lap 55 for these drivers.
Yeah, it's kind of an odd number, 55 laps instead of like lap number 50 or 60 laps, which is the equivalent of what you see for kind of a late model feature here on a Saturday night at America's hometown track. But for the most part, they work their way across start and finish. Everyone holds their line. Williamson, Tate, Cottle, big battle, big push going on inside the top 10 now between English and Collins, going on with Silver and 3.
They're battling as hard as they can, and coming up in this stage break, these drivers, oh no, that's trouble, issues, and that's going to be Curl, as well as Teal and others. Big trouble for the drivers further on back.
Big trouble. We got one on his side, topsy-turvy, and that's Curl's car. Oh my goodness, Curl might have just actually put himself out of the race here. James Curl on his side. Some other cars involved, Samuel. 3rd yellow, and probably the biggest wreck of the afternoon.
Yeah, we're going to see this black 95. That's going to be Dalton Collins. And then you're also going to see the 26 of James Curl. They're going to be right on top of one another. And this is when trying to grab a little bit too much, bumps in the 95, and that's the race ender right there. Gets set right up into the outside wall. Engine blown. Dalton Collins leaves immediately. He's out of the session. And we'll see how long Curl wants to sit in pit road.
It's kind of, you got to take that tow, if you will, to try to go back to the pit area, and I got to see how much damage is done on that car. You know, you use the expression, Samuel, that these cars are built like tanks, and yeah, they're like Rambo. They can survive some big hits, but when you're on your side like that, that's kind of a no man's land place. You want to be right there for sure.
Yeah, and for these drivers, they're going to race out as long as they can until they feel like their steering is off or if they're underpowered. or if they get what we call a meatball flag. It's a black flag with an orange circle, and its meaning is it required damage. If you get that flag flown at you, it means you have to come into pit road. Usually when you have a blown engine, suspension issues, you get that flag for these drivers. And for James Curl and also Dalton Collins, both of them were given that flag. Collins didn't even want to test to see how long he was going to be out of this race. Curl still in pit road, trying to maximize and see if there's going to be any other big wrecks that happen. I mean, yes, we've seen these flips, but honestly, I wouldn't say this is the big one just yet. I think we're still waiting on that gridlock wreck that's going to stall almost everyone in this field.
Yeah, we haven't had the big one per se just yet. As right now we're closing up on 20 laps to go in stage 1, 34 laps completed. And you know, Samuel, you mentioned the meatball flag, the black flag with the orange circle in the middle. And mind you, though we don't see it a lot in broadcasts on races, it is a real flag. It is a flag that is used a lot in road course racing, especially primarily SCCA road course racing, if you will. You don't see it a lot in the racing short track world. As here comes the choose car one more time. I love that. That is so creative, whoever came up with that. And I will say this, you basically get a black flag. You get a black flag, and a couple of times acknowledge the black flag, Samuel. If you do not go off the track when the black flag is given, you're then showed the black flag with the right cross, which is normally known as the skull flag, which means that you're not scored. So I just find it cool as we get ready for a restart, coming to 1 to go this time by, that there is literally real racing flags and the meanings used in iRacing like in the real racing world too.
Yeah, I mean, iRacing, that is the goal. Try to make this as realistic to real-life racing as possible. That's why they laser scan the tracks, they laser scan the cars, so you get the most realistic aspect when you get the service. And it certainly has done everything so incredibly here, and it makes us so proud to be able to watch and get practically the most realist racing possible online on the virtual side of things. And that's why we're here watching these drivers in the crown jewel LMSC series here tonight, as we have the pace truck in, we're green, and drivers further back. Not as great as a start as we've seen these last two ones.
Green flag back in the air. Williamson, here he comes. I love this view from start finish off turn 4. Look at him roaring and soaring down the front chute. Oh, we got one on the wall. Trouble's car hard smacking the wall. Is, I believe, Boyd again. And then we've got Schellenberg, I think, might have been involved in it. Oh, yeah, my goodness.
Yeah. That's going to be Devin Schellenberg, and he immediately took the toe into pit road. That is major damage for the 07, as it looked like he was underpowered, not able to even get moving, and immediately got knocked out of this race. We'll take another look at the 07 and what got him spun around. Just drivers trying to get everything they can. We're only on lap 39 of 200. Caution laps do count. Your short track racing here in South Boston, as you're going to see the 07. A little bit of contact further up, and just an innocent victim, nowhere to go.
Hard break for the 07 premier entry, and Schellenberg's car badly damaged here as the caution comes out again. And we do have a caution lap counter. Can we go to the bottom left? Look at this caution counter, where we're at so far. Samuel, where are we at so far?
Well, we've had 4 cautions so far. We've had quite a few, but the one thing that's been interesting, no lead change. It's since we took the green, it has all been that of Williamson. Yes, officially the leader on the pole was Brett Suggs when we took the green to start this race, but from the rip, it was Williamson that made the pass immediately, and because he led that first lap, technically it counts as no lead changes for tonight's service, as 41 laps in, still got 160 to go, but Wesley, only 4 cautions in 40 laps. That's not the trend we really want to see here tonight.
So half the distance almost has been 20 laps green, 20 laps caution, if you will. Most recent for the 911 machine of Culpeper, Virginia's Devin Schellenberg, and the Premier Racing Esports machine there. And we'll try to reset, try it again here. Obviously, they'll get ready to bring out the choose car, if you will. The choose car, like the choose cone. I think that's pretty cool. Obviously, Samuel, you can't do that in real racing because we can't have a choose car, if you will, just disappear and go back into the pits. I mean, I guess you could do that, but I mean, it just
pulls out. It pulls out, and then it parks, and then once everyone drives on by, it pulls back into pit road. I mean, you could. It's just we don't want to do it for the risk of what happened last week. Last week, every single race of our triple 35s at that new Smyrna. I think at least 2 to 5 vehicles hit the choose car. Luckily, the pace a lot slower this go around.
Yeah, you can't hit the choose car. There should be some type of a penalty, Samuel, if you hit the pace car, you hit the choose car, there should be a penalty.
Well, what was funny last week was the fact that they were going so fast, and there was no like over the radio conversation of, hey, the choose car's out on track. So drivers just were not aware, and because they were going so fast, it just ran right into it. A lot of calamity. Even the choose car got so damaged, it wasn't able to come back out late in races. But luckily, they cleaned it up, and we're now going to be getting reset. No one's hit it so far. Got plenty of laps and plenty of potential cautions to come out. Who knows if someone's going to hit it here this evening, as it's going to be that of Shane Williamson, Magnum Tate, as well as Alex Gratz, Joshua Cottle, as well as that of Alex McCullum, Justin Brooks, that of Dustin McCullum, as well as that of Shane English, Brett Suggs, and Austin Teal going to be your top 10 drivers ready to go green once again for the Virginia Triple Crown. And there they go. And already contact rubbing going off 3 wide, back for practically last place.
Yeah, they got a little antsy there on that restart in the back of the pack going 3 wide, but here we go again. They're right back to the whip. Cotto, Gratz going at it with Brooks and McCullough. He's climbing. Remember, fast qualifier. Started 10th on the invert, quietly, patiently working through the field out of 2.
And Magnum Tate finally becoming our first pass for the lead, but then gets bumped out of the way. The 5 with the lead for a half a lap for 3 wide, and the big one strikes.
They were going 3 wide, Samuel. You couldn't do that out of turn 4. There's your big one.
Talk about gridlock, and McCullum gets contact again, and it just continued to rattle on. And Williamson, he wanted to keep that lead. Aggressive contact, and Alex McCullum is on the charge. He is going after somebody. Oh, no, he just felt, he was like, oh, I'm taking my position back. I want this spot. This is where I'm going, as he was flying back up to the top 3. And other drivers as well, trying to get back up to their position. Because everyone got to gridlock, the timing of the yellow, as, oh no, taking out Williamson, Alex Pratt as well. And we talked about the anger issues, the troubles of last week. They strike once again, and Williamson, who led practically all the laps here tonight, he is now heavily damaged and might be out of this.
And Tate might be also officially removed from this race also. Here's a shot at it one more time. You gotta wonder if maybe Tate feels Williamson roughed him up a little bit. Paused him. Now this is after everything settles down. And look at number 5. Jumping up on the outside of the racetrack. And he's on a mission here coming after Williamson. And look at this. That's just no way around it, Samuel. He intentionally called his mark, called his shot, and took out the 53.
And for the 53, he has required damage. He has to come into pit road. This is going to be putting the 53 in a no-win situation. And you hate to see this. This happened last week. Practically for every single race, there was some type of intentional wreck. And this go around, it's the leaders. It just got real gross there. And, oh, Wesley, you hate to see it, but now it's Josh Cottle going to be up front, the 9. Gratz, he's heavily damaged, going to be in 2nd. And now back in 3rd, 4th place, it's Alex McCullum, Justin Brooks, Marquette, some of the favorites from last week. They were gifted now about 3 or 4 positions.
So are they going to take Tate out of this race? Is he going to be disqualified? I would think that he'd be parked.
Imagine he's going to get parked at some point.
Williamson obviously heavy damage. He's going to have to sit it out here for a moment. And hey, this is a gift, Samuel. A bad gift, if you will, but it gives the lead to Josh Cottle.
And as well, watch out for the 9. He's going to be underpowered on this restart. He came over the radio, going to be about 200 RPMs low. So this, for Alex Gratz on the outside, this is going to be a very dangerous restart for that of Brooks and also any other drivers behind on this outer lane. But Cottle's going to be in a good position. Same for that of Alex McCullum on the inside and Marquette. They're going to be willing to take off and go immediately. Question is how is everyone from about 3rd on back going to go here?
Understanding he was removed from the server, Samuel. He did not leave on his own, but they basically, race director for the Crown Jewel Late Model Stock E-Series, who was, by the way, Caleb Hall, former race director at Franklin County Speedway, said, no, you're out, you're done. I had a feeling that that was exactly going to happen. But, Samuel, here's such the bad luck, man. Look at the field.
Oh, there they go.
The attrition rate, and here we go again.
Talked about the 9 was underpowered, and he wipes out the field. It didn't make sense for him to be up front. And no yellow is thrown.
No
we
caution.
stay green, and it's going to be that O'Connell up and Cullum. And the battle for fourth is now going to be raging. It's Teal, Brooks, side by side. It might be a little bit of contact as we're finally just a quarter of the way into this race.
And Samuel, I was going to say, buddy, I don't know if you noticed, man, we started with close to 30 cars. We're only down to like 16 or 18 on the racetrack. That's it, 16 cars. That's it.
16 on the lead lap, and yeah, it's dwindling very quickly. Speaking of 16, there's our two-time winner this season. Dustin Mombercat going to be in third place, but now the real question is who's been damaged the most out of all those that are still surviving. Alex McCullum has a lot of front-end damage. That means that he can't use a lot of bump and runs from here on out. Otherwise, he could overall damage that engine for the 8. That's going to put McCullum in a bad spot. That's going to be Rocky Boyd spun around.
Caution is out, and Rocky Boyd is spun around, but actually, Samuel, this is also the end of stage number 1. If you think about it, but stage 1 is done. Caution is out, and we'll try this again here.
As this is going to be the aftermath of drivers trying to slow down from that stage and trying to take off. And yeah, this is going to be the stage break, but here's going to be the contact of coming out of turn number 2. Drivers trying to whoa up just in case that yellow came out, and Rocky Boyd as well is going to be seeing that of Drew Cox going to make some contact that's going to bring out this yellow officially.
So the caution flag has come out. We're 55 laps in. And again, once they complete the lap 55, caution would be thrown for the stage break. And yeah, we're about to show you right here where the cars are getting antsy here. This is right at the end of the stage that Samuel was talking about. As we get the replay, there you see
there
it. And I don't think it was intentional, Samuel. I just think it was everybody getting on the binders to come to the yellow flag for the end of the stage, and the 98 gave a little bump there to Rocky Boyd.
And also just overall frustration, you can also tell there. I mean, Cox was trying to get by Boyd for the longest time and was trying to get multiple different opportunities, just never struck. But this is a different scenario for these drivers with this stage break, and because the field is shrunk so much here in the first, stage of this race, a couple of drivers taking the opportunity. This is your one of 2 times to take and utilize your one set of tires in pit road. A couple of drivers going to be utilizing that. Alex McCullum comes into pit road trying to get some damage repair. Same for that of Drew Cox and Jake Sylvia, and as well as Rocky Boyd, who was involved with that wreck. Leclerc, English, and Carpenter as well came in to top off on damage repairs. But Wesley, this is an opportunity to take tires if you like, but I would imagine most of these drivers want to just wait until that lap 110 to use those tires.
Yeah, this is so frustrating, man. I mean, obviously you would think you could be able to probably go to lap 110. Here's the deal. There's been so much aggressive driving here in the opening 50 laps of the race. And by the way, as we get ready for the restart, let's take a look at the weather conditions. 133 degrees on track temp. Cars are on the racetrack now. Look at it. It's dropped down. I'm actually surprised it's not warmer than that, but it's actually 132 degrees. We're coming to green in stage 2 here for the late model Crown Jewel at Sobo.
And these drivers getting themselves green flag racing to Josh Cottle, Dustin Mombercat, as well as that of Brooks Steele, going to be side by side for the lead. The action we're watching right here, going to be that assess 7 of Brady. And Beatty's going to actually get out of sorts for the 7. And he is able to hold on to that outer groove, Wesley, with how hot it is. That is extremely loose and not a lot of grip to work with.
Yeah, that's Beatty's car going up the hill. Problems there for the E&E machine, Beatty Racing number 7 machine. That's Bryce Beatty, and losing ground. Cars coming to his inside, like Lederick and English. Silva now climbing back up. Suggs back in that battle as well. And here they come out of turn 4.
And here's our top 5, going to be all stacked on top of one another. Cottle, Mombercat, as well as Brooks, Teal, and also that of Ryan Kuhn going to be involved with this group. Alex McCullum is going to be back in 12th place. We'll see if the 8 can climb his way forward, but that outer lane, the longer this run goes on, watch out for the 16. He might be able to find some more speed as the tire wear kicks in, but it's going to be Cottle taking the lead for now, with the 16's not giving up.
Yeah, and you know, so South Boston, one of those tracks primarily for the inside of the racetrack. You got to hug the bottom of the racetrack. You saw the first stage of the race, Samuel, as they work off 4 back to 1. You're 2x2x2 on a single lane, but just maybe you could get something started on the outside lane. That's what Bombercat, 2-time winner of this series, is already trying to do here as he works off turn 4.
Cool contact going to be made by Brooks and Bombercat coming out of the corner. Just a little bit of pinching between each driver, and Brooks, that 33 white and red second car on the inside, he is certainly pounding, but it's Teal, the 09 on the outside. That white 09, Wesley, he is in right, practically hugging the 33. The 33 is moving up just slightly. They're going to make contact. The question is, how big of contact is it going to be?
Yeah, we're going to watch that as the field working their way back around the racetrack off of the corner. Man, what a show they're putting on. Oh, look, great racing here. I mean, it's finally starting to get really good, Samuel.
I mean, that's usually what happens is you get these massive wrecks in the first quarter of the race, and then everyone starts to realize, you know what, let's calm down. Let's finally give each other plenty of space. Let's not run each other over. But as well as we're saying that, though, they're close. They're really starting to pack in with one another. And if anyone makes a small mistake, this could be costly, not just for that one driver that makes a mistake, but everyone else. Brooks, Dale, once again bouncing off one another. That 33 is getting wiggly loose out of these corners after making contact. That's getting me nervous for Brooks. But Bombercat, Wesley, we're watching. He is working that outside, that power move by the 16 right now.
Yeah, he's making that outside lane work as they work back to the start-finish line, back to turn 1, outside lane for the Marconi setup shop Chevrolet. Down to the bottom, Cottle trying to protect the inside. Meanwhile, Dylan Brooks now, Kerry Coon with them in the top 5 as they work off turn 4.
Dustin Bombercat did what we were calling a pitch. He got right on the 13 on the exit of the corner. Cottle was not able to get back on the throttle and had to let off, and Bombercat took off for himself, and now the 16 is leading and pulling away. And now the 09 of Teal, he saw how that pass worked. He's going to give it his own go here on the outside, but he's got to make sure he doesn't bounce in that outside wall.
Bombercat, Cottle, Deal, followed by Brooks and Kuhn, top 5. Robert, Suggs, English, Larrick, and Beatty now, the top 10. Leclerc, actually, is the way you say that man in the number 9 position. As here comes the battle, here comes Brooks after Deal. This goes on behind Cottle in 1.
Kuhn in the 72, he's also going to be a driver to watch out for. He's been quick. And for that 72, the question is, how can he place himself in what position? Again, he qualified officially before the end of Furnace. Oh boy, Teal gets out of shape. Loose holds on for now. We're going to be losing that 2 positions in that quick shuffle. But Ryan Kuhn, he technically qualified second. He's the second fastest driver on track based off of qualifying, Wesley. But he's still going to work through this traffic.
Yeah, fighting their way off the corner out of turn 4, down to the inside of that yellow lane, if you will. You don't want to go below the apron. You got the wall to help you there for the most part on the straightaways. But in those corners, Samuel, it's that yellow line. If you go below that line, you hit the apron of the racetrack, your car can be disturbed very easily and lose handle. And we watch him now. Boy, that was Ryan Kuhn testing the limits there, trying to get around the machine of Brooks and Thiel for the top 5.
Yeah, and especially on the exit of the corners, you see that yellow line, it kind of expands out, showing where the range is of that apron, especially on the exit of the corners. If you get that rear end touching that yellow paint, you can find yourself looping this car around. So yes, you're trying to hug that yellow line, but you don't want to get too low on it. Right now, Kuhn's doing a great job for himself. Here's going to be Cottle and others right on top of one another. But here also comes Rogers, that 27, contact with Teal, and they hold on for now, Wesley.
Boy, what a save. Then they got to get on the binders to check up to get back and get back on the high horse again. But what a save there between Teal and Kuhn and Roberts. Respect given, respect earned. That is the give and take that I was talking about, Samuel, that it should have been given right there. Good racing between those guys.
Talking about the apron, well, Teal tried to go onto the apron there on that entry. He went so low, that shallow entry. I thought he was going to come right back up to the 27 and Rogers. But oh boy, watch out. That's going to be seeing that of Suggs getting loose. Yellow flag strikes, and oh boy, there's a car sideways.
Yeah, we saw the car sideways right there. It's car number 31 of Carpenter's Machine, the Bob's Pet and Pond entry. Number 31. I'm liking that color, that lime green color on the number 31. Ooh, caution out.
Ooh.
Wow, what happened here? Holy cow.
Jake, Sylvia, and Carpenter racing for quote-unquote last place and just body slamming each other here late. I mean, these drivers racing for 12th and 13th position, and why not just take each other out there as the field, Wesley, it shrinks even more as we are down to just 12 drivers on the lead lap.
Crazy.
But it could be even less than that here shortly if drivers feel like they've got too much damage to work with, as that of Preston DeMello is out of here, Rocky Boyd is out, Alex Gratz, Connor Jones, as well as that of our pole sitter and dominating driver, that of Shane Williamson, who's taken out by Steele. A little bit of shimming going on.
Did you see the 98 of Cox giving a little chin music to Bombercat for some reason? Are we missing something here?
Well, I think the main thing might have been the fact that for Bombercat, he did not know that a lap car was coming to get the wave around by Cox, and so a little bit of a scare for both drivers, just miscommunication over the radio in that situation. So luckily all the drivers are set, they're going to be okay taking off from here, but certainly that was a scare for our leader.
And we saw what happened with Silva getting into Carpenter there, and I mean, they just looked like Silva ran up the hill, got up into the outside retaining wall, up into the marbles, if you will, or as we say in the dirt track world, the tater patch. The marbles is all the particles of the tire rubber and granulates and everything from the pavement world up in the top shelf, and he ran over that. And when he came back down, he got into Carpenter's car, the green number 31. And I would not say, Samuel, that was intentional. By the way, props to these guys. This was the longest green flag run of the race so far. I want to say it's 31 laps in our 5th caution flag of the night.
Yeah, I mean, that is the big thing, and it gave us a little bit of a preview on how these drivers are going to be setting up for the rest of this race, even though the field is shrinking quite quickly now. We started with officially 26 drivers that started this race. We're now down to just that of, I believe, 13 when we go green, actually 14, excuse me, with that. But only 11 going to be on the lead lap. This is going to be a weird start here, but again, we're only in stage 2. Stage 2 break on lap 110. Still a lot of racing to go, as we're not even at the halfway marker for these drivers, but it's going to be Dustin Bombercat, that of Justin Brooks, going to be up front. 2 drivers that were pounding and on top of one another all of last week at New Smyrna. They're going to try their best here for attacking one another, but Kuhn, Cottle, Suggs, going to be of Roberts, Leclerc, Teal, Alex McCullum, and Beatty going to be that of your top 10 drivers ready to go green. They have already gone with the shoes. Bombercat wants the outside. We'll see how well this restart's going to go for himself. Pace truck is off, and we're green once again for the Virginia Triple Crown here at South Boston. And Bombercat able to clean himself into turn number 1.
Yeah, back at it again. Bombercat pulls away from Brooks. Here comes Kuhn and Cottle. They'll battle side by side. Kuhn will make something work up on the outside lane work. We are closing in on 11 laps to halfway, and then 21 laps to go in stage number 2. There's still 90 laps remaining once they reach lap 110 in this Crown Jewel round 2 at Sobo. The leaders are off turn 4.
Legal filed out, and already quick yellow going to be struck. It's going to be Carpenter and the 09 going to be involved with this one. And drivers are mild. Oh, it's a destruction derby. They're finishing each other off.
That's Silva's car. That's Carpenter's car. What in the hell is going on here, guys? Oh my God. Oh my goodness.
It's just a melee. Drivers just not sure how they want to race around one another, as it's officially going to start out with Teal, and also as this is the aftermath coming in, Carpenter as well as Sylvia going to be coming in late, but that was actually going to be Leclerc and also Teal going to be the main drivers involved. And then everyone decided, I just want to get around and start moving first. They all did it at the same time in sequence, and they all started looking like destruction derby vehicles.
Yeah, that's when our camera angle, Charles finally zoomed in there. We were kind of trying to, now I'm kind of trying to understand now why it looked like it was a demolition derby in a squared circle now, Samuel, because it looked like you said, everybody got collected, and then all of a sudden the seas parted. You're back rolling again. Well, everybody says, no, me, I'm going first. And then you tag cars by accident. So I think that was not per se intentionally being done there.
Absolutely not. All the drivers for sure were just trying to get rolling without, being involved with anyone else. But this wreck now puts even more drivers with heavily damaged vehicles. And for that, Bombercat, Brooks, Kuhn, Cottle, that of Roberts, as well as Suggs. I mean, these drivers only our top 7 really are in haven't been touched by any incidences, which is wild to think. Some of them do have some bumps and bruises here or there, but look the cleanest of everyone on track. Then Alex McCollum, English, and everyone from 8th on back look pretty damaged, but we've only got 11 drivers on the lead lap. This is, it's shrinking very quickly. Wesley, it's still, I mean, up front, they're putting on a great show. It's further back where they just see the whole entire field trickling and trimming themselves away. Yeah,
and Samuel, man, it's so disappointing because they started with, 26 cars, and half the entire field is littered. I mean, the choose cars out there again, but it's so disappointing because now you put McCollum, okay? The fast qualifier, he's still mired in the back. He's in 11th, last car on the lead lap. And I mean, there's so many great cars that are either in the pits or multiple laps down or they're out of the race. And it's just, I hate to see it turn out this way, but honestly, the attrition was going to happen, Samuel. I just think it disappointingly happened too early.
Yeah, it's just too much aggression too early, and now you're dealing with the aftermath of drivers that wanted everything on lap 1, and it's still, I mean, stage 1.
And you can't win it on the first lap.
No, I mean, that was one of our keys. You had to stay out of trouble, keep the engine clean, and we're already seeing half the field have already wiped each other out. I mean, it's not the best way you want to start out here, as week 1 was a caution-filled event of drivers taking each other out. Here in stage 1, we saw it strike again. And there's still plenty of racing, seeing if we'll see another drivers taking each other out, or will we stay green as the drivers roar at turn number 4. It's Dustin Mummercat, Brooks, Kuhn, Connell, all down into turn number 1.
Now you see that big pack of cars when it started. Now you got about maybe half the field left. 11 cars on the lead lap. They work now coming off of turn number 4. Mummercat out in front. Brooks now to number 2 spot. Ryan Kuhn 3rd. Big gaggle of traffic behind him. Cottle, Suggs, Roberts, all of that mix as they work the 3.
And, we've seen these drivers be side by side like this, and it's when they get a little bit too aggressive. They bounce off as, oh boy, car spun around. That's going to be the 09 deal. We stay green for now, as that is off the racing surface, 09 into pit road. That's the big thing. We stay green.
Yeah, it's a smart move there for Dale, man. I think he got tired of yellow flags too, but it's heartbreak for him now because they're going to say he's in the pits. He spun out. He's in the pits, though. Maybe he can, but he can't make a pit stop. Remember, you can't do anything to the car until lap 110. And by the way, Samuel, speaking of 100, they're coming to halfway this time by, bud, and we're halfway through this race.
Yeah, update on that Austin Steele. He was given a black flag. Too many incident points for the 09, so he had to come into pit road even after the spin. Hate to see for that driver that lead is now with 10 on the lead lap at this current moment. Mummercat leading the way as we're watching the battling that's going on for the 5th place position.
And look at these cars without Cottle on the inside. There goes the 27, correction. Cottle, Suggs, Roberts. You're seeing some smoke, but I think it's from a car that's smoking on the pit lane, Samuel. It's not anybody on the racetrack, so we're keeping an eye on that. Trying to get to the end of this stage. Stage 2, getting a little fierce. Roberts tries to give a bumper to Suggs or Cottle. 7 to go here in stage 2.
Yeah, that smoke that you're seeing is going to be from the 31 of that Brad Carpenter. He's going to be in pit road. That's for the smoke that you're seeing popping up as we're right on board with Roberts, seeing these drivers side by side. I mean, this is a wall, Wesley. You hope to see one of the drivers start moving forward, but you're stuck here. You have to just wait. And right now, for the 27, he's just seeing the laps tick away, and he's not going to be able to gain any more positions unless they can finally clear one another.
Yeah, we're going to keep an eye on that right now as they're going to come to the line. It'll be 5 to go here in stage number 2 here, and then it's going to be all bets are off. The gloves are off here at stage number 3, the 90-lap battle to the finish. Lap 105 of 200. There's Kuhn. Kuhn now losing ground on Mummercat and Brooks, the top 2. They're into the back straightaway here at South Boston.
And right now, Wesley, as we're coming up to the final stage, these drivers, this is going to be their last chance to come into pit road and take tires. But it's Mummercat and Brooks right on top of one another. And for that 33 of Justin Brooks, he's wanting to see this race stay green. But that stage break is going to change everything since he's finally getting these tires warmed up and putting the pressure on that Dustin Mummercat.
Time running out here, a couple of laps remaining here in stage number 2. Finally, things settle down. Mummercat leading 2 wins. He did it at New Smyrna last week in the triple 35s on LSRTV. Now he tries to hold off Brooks at Bay as they work off turn number 4.
Right now, it's going to be that of Justin Mombercat. He's shown that he's got the speed and the pace to win a short track race in a New Smyrna. Can he get up front and stay up front? He's done so ever since he got the lead. He's been leading, and there's the contact. Brooks gets him down. He saved it. Slows down. Respectful move as Coon's going to follow behind as these drivers race on. Hey, props to Brooks. Brooks easily could have just ran away with this one, but knowing the yellow's coming side by side, let's make this last lap a little dramatic for stage 2. It's going to be the 33 of Brooks leading for now out of turn number 4. Side by side, Mombercat's there. We wait for the yellow, and it's Brooks leading until the yellow flag flies, and there it is.
Wait till the top 10 cross the scoring loop with Larrick's car and then of Leclerc, and then they throw the yellow flag. And oh man, Samuel, I'm telling you, bud, that is just impressive. A little bump, a little hit. He let Brooks, let Mombercat correct himself. He even gave him a little save. And I said respect is given, respect is earned. That right there proves that, because he could have, the 33 of Brooks could have turned Mombercat, and I would have said to you in the broadcast booth, Samuel, that was just a racing deal in the corner. But he didn't want to race him that way. He helped him, he corrected him, and those guys raced hard 1 and 2 to the end of the stage.
And now it's time to get some fresh rubber as they're going to be having these final 90 laps to see how well they can get these tires put on, get out of here, and get racing. As that of Justin Brooks, he's NASCAR Heat 5 champion. He's doing a great job with the transition over to iRacing and looking strong here this evening, except for he's got to back up, get in his box. He made your mistake, Wesley. He now could potentially go a lap down with that mistake.
Yeah, it's a heartbreak there for that driver out of McCall, South Carolina, the 29-year-old for Willen and Dillon Motorsports. And wow. This is taking away all the work he made, Samuel. It's gone now. He's in the back.
But able to get those tires, get them on, get rolling. But that certainly was a giant scare for the 33, who was your stage winner, and now he'll fall back to the drivers in the back half of this line. He'll be mired back to that of 8th, 9th position as some drivers going to come into pit road, but it's going to be that of Sean English going to be up front for the 60. Alex McCullum going to be in second. But the issue with these drivers, Wesley, both heavily damaged.
Yeah, we're going to see what Sean English can do now. This is the first time we've kind of been able to check out that driver on the racetrack in the number 1 position now through the end of the stage and pit stops. Obviously, Samuel, you look at Alex McCullum out of Phillipsburg, New Jersey. Now, he was up in the front earlier, but then he fell back. Well, guess what? On the last recent caution before the end of the stage, he was all the way in 11th, last car on the lead lap. Strategy, being there at the right time. That JDR Graphics Chevrolet number 8 with a throwback to Josh Berry. He has now moved that car to the number 2 position.
Yeah, and the question now is he's been mired back there. He has not been trying to pressure of any of the drivers that are in the top 7, top 8 during the end of that stage 2. So now with us going in the final stint of this race, there's no more stage breaks. We are racing the end of lap 200. Question is, who's going to survive? As you see the 31, it's still billowing with smoke.
There's the smoking car.
Yeah, he's just waiting for that vehicle to get finished and repaired, and he's actually left. He's just left there, waiting for that car to finally get moving. But I mean, Wesley, we can see the damage on the nose of the 60 and the 8. Both have been involved with earlier incidences. The 60 a lot more crumpled on the rear end, as well as the front bumper. I mean, certainly a lot shorter of a vehicle, and you hope that if you're going to have that nose squeezed in, that you're going to have a big enough lead if he's set up in there at the end.
Certainly, for sure. Hey, this is the Crown Jewel E Late Model Stock Car Series. iRacing on LSRTV. Samuel Dyer, Wesley Outlet here with you. And Samuel, this is real cars, real short tracks across America. We've already been at New Smyrna. We're here tonight at South Boston. We got to settle this race. It's going to be a fun, wild, 83-lap sprint with the green flag flies coming up. But man, where else are we going to? This is going to be exciting.
Yeah, we're getting ready to go to Hickory. That's our next destination going in next week. And Hickory is going to be on the schedule quite a bit. I think we're going there at least 2 times this season. So that's going to be a track that these drivers are prepared to go to. Hickory, though, it is a track where it's a 1 lane, way more prevalent as a 1 lane than here at South Boston. That is going to be a track where I'm expecting a lot of bump and runs, drama, tempers flaring, even more than what we've seen here tonight, Wesley.
Yeah, we hope that our colleague John Mustin Jr. gets to feeling better. I know he's under the weather. He was supposed to be joining you on the color analyst position, and I was supposed to be entitled a race event track driver analyst here, because I know these drivers, Samuel. When I saw the names pop up on time and scoring and seeing the cars, I was like, oh man, yeah, I know that guy, and I know that guy, I know that guy. And I've been to all these racetracks and announced all these events across here with this series. So it's really, really cool to see that we're now taking the crown jewel big late model stock car races across America and now putting it on iRacing. We're back to green. It's an 80-lap shootout here with English out in front. Kuhn, McCollum's coming after him in turn one.
Yeah, I mean, right now English is ahead for now, but you can tell Kuhn, this 72, just feeling the pressure. He's not able to get up to that wall. Once it clears this of Alex McCullum, he's going to feel a lot more comfortable on attacking the 60. But because he's on the inside now, not even getting on the throttle in the straightaways, 72 is being held up, but there's the 16. Dustin Marquette, he's going to be back in 6th. And that's Justin Brooks, our Stage 2 winner. He's back in 8th place. Wesley mired back behind all this traffic.
Flip-flop, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and that's the way you can explain the first 3 stages of this race. The ugly, Stage 1, Wreckfest, calamity, cars taken out. The bad, well, we still able to get a couple of green flag runs into our belt, but still some crazy racing that's took more cars out. The good, you're down to only at least 10 cars to battle it out on the lead lap. The best of the best have survived the attrition rate with 75 to go at South Boston. The battle for the lead with Kuhn and English in 3.
Talked about Kuhn, he just needed to get a little bit of a clean run. There it was, and now he's trying to get completely clear of English. English trying to defend the best that he can, not able to. 72 is clear, and here comes Brett Suggs in the 33, trying to make a late surge. He's recognizing he's got to make these passes because Kuhn can pull away quickly.
And Samuel, all the while, look who's hooked up and became the, if you will, Maverick and Goose wingman to the driver of Suggs, the proverbial number 16 of Ontario, Canada's Dustin Marquette. He fills right up under the back deck lid of the rear end of that car. He follows him. He moves them. He drafts by them. He clears Brooks. He clears Connell. Marquette top 5 out of 2.
The black and red 33, that is going to be Brett Suggs. And then it's going to be the 33 behind him in the white and red. That's Justin Brooks. Those 2 drivers going to be squeezing right behind the 16. The 16 of Marquette. He knows he needs to get moving. Right now, got to give credit to English. He's done a great job defending, even though with the crinkled and battered 60 machine, he's still holding on for second.
Beaten, battered, banged, and bandaged, bruised, and still alive. They're going at it here down the stretch. Closing in on 70 laps to go. It's go time. The gloves are off now. This is when everybody should have been being aggressive down to the end. There's so many cars that are taken out. The cream of the crop is all that's left. It's Kuhn leading as they cross the line back to 1.
Kuhn, who qualified for second place and then had to go all the way back to 9th because our top 10 got inverted from where they officially qualified. And now he's going to be up front. The driver that got the pole award, that's Alex McCullum, and he's in 6th place at the current moment. With getting the pole, he got $10 in his pocket. And Wesley, that's something we haven't talked about for most of this race. Top 3 get cash. If you win this race, $150 go to your pocket. As oh boy, English, Marquette, also going to be Suggs holding on with the bumps going through the field.
And that was a bumper check of log jam traffic, if you will. It was like cable connectors on the railroad tracks. One got a bump, one got loose, the other one hit him behind him, and he got loose. Somehow they correct them together. It's Ryan Kuhn still even getting that push, still in the lead. He pulls away by a car length on English out of turn 2. Suggs is right behind him, as well as Marquette in the top 2 through 5 in the 3.
It just feels odd seeing everyone in a train single filed out. It's been side by side for about 5th on backward for the whole entire race. Now everyone in line, picking and choosing and figuring out, how do I get the driver in front of me out of my way? Do I bump them out of the way, or do I try to place a pass? As Marquette gets moved up, it's Justin Brooks. A great pass there. Gonna be moving up to 4.
Winner 2 times at New Smyrna. Contact up the hill. Battle for second. Suggs and English get together. They run each other up the racetrack. Here comes English on the outside. Suggs to the bottom. He'll move to second. Marquette back in the battle out of 4.
Marquette's not going to give up. He has to get moving. He'll give a little bit of a body push to the 60 machine just to move him back behind him. And now the retaliation, you wait for it, will not happen. As now it's going to be that of McCullum. Rogers setting up to get by the 60 as we keep our cameras set. for that third place, the 33, Justin Brooks, our stage 2 winner. He's now got 2 more drivers to go before he can get back up to that lead spot. And Wesley, if he keeps on using his bumper to move people out of the way, you know someone's going to retaliate back to the 33 if they got an opportunity.
Yeah, it's time's running out here. It's the battle of the 33 cars. It's Brett Suggs, of course, from Mooresville. You got Brooks back in this battle again. He had to fight, by the way, from a penalty. Overshot his pit stall, and he had to fight to get back in this battle. The good news is, Samuel, that Brooks car is strong. The bad news is he only had to pass 10 cars for the rest of the field to run him down. He's right back in the catbird seat, and he means business. It's Ryan Kuhn, though, leading as we're coming to 60 to go here at South Boston.
Our official pole sitter, driver that got the $10, Alex McCullough, pulls into pit road. Too much damage, has to get repairs done for the 8. He is gone, done for this race. We're down to 9 drivers on the lead lap, and only about 7 of them are attached to this lead path.
Short tracks across America provide this late model action all the time. Go support your short track, whether it's dirt or pavement, and we, of course, invite you to join us with the Crown Jewel Late Model Stock E-Series with iRacing on LSRTV. Samuel, Ryan Kuhn, there you see just a tail end on the upper left of the broadcast monitor. That's his car. He leads. Suggs has got Brooks behind him. Marquette to follow. That conga line, single file, works to 3. They can't run down Kuhn, though.
But we're less than 60 laps to go. And like kind of said, this is 200 laps. It feels like a lot of laps, but at the same time, these laps are getting ticked away 16 seconds each lap. That means we're doing 4 laps, a little bit over a minute, and everyone's recognizing you gotta make these moves fast. Ryan Kuhn, he has been quick, half a second over Suggs and Brooks, but they're coming up to lap traffic. That's gonna be finding themselves up to that of Tyler Leclerc, and that 233 should be easily getting out of the way for everyone else, but for Suggs, Brooks, Marquette, you can tell Brooks, he's getting kind of done with sitting behind that other 33.
Yeah, impatient is the word that I was thinking of, but he's also being tolerant for the time being. They all stay single file for the time. Working to 3 and 4. Ryan Kuhn now, though, has a lap car in front of him. He's got to find a way to make moves on that car of the driver of Leclerc. Leclerc up the hill. You see how beaten, battered, damaged his machine is. Look like it's been in a demolition derby. It almost got into Suggs in 3.
Did hit with Suggs on the exit of the corner, just poor timing, and now Marquette's got to be careful not to make contact with the lap machine, and oh, he gets loose for that of Marquette. He loses ground to our front 3. Marquette continuing to lose, and he's now going to be a half a second off of Brooks.
Yeah, Leclerc's beaten, battered, and banged car is now in the middle of the racing traffic, and the good cars, or the semi-damaged, if you will, machines, because they all look like they've got attrition, have somehow, they're trying to clear them. And all the while this goes on, Ryan Kuhn has opened up the lead to half a second on Brett Suggs and Brooks out of 4.
Was down to about 0.4 seconds. Back when he got by that of Leclerc, now it's grown up to almost 0.6 of a second. The difference between that of Ryan Kuhn and second place Brett Suggs. Suggs, as we're watching this, he's holding off Brooks, and Brooks finally getting the opening he wants. He's down to the inside quarter panel, side by side through 1 and 2. And Brooks, if he gets a good launch here, he can finally try to temper, go for the push here in the final quarter here at that of South Boston. Justin Brooks, he's almost clear, and now Wesley, the game is on. Justin Brooks, Ryan Kuhn, 50-lap piece of an action, it's on.
Yeah, the gloves are off now, Samuel Tire. This is your short track races across America. A 50-lap late model sprint to battle it out now. And now, Brooks finally got back around the machine of Brett Suggs. He couldn't carry Marquette with him. And now look at Suggs now, or Brooks fighting that car as he was trying to get loose off the exit of the corner. He's got to save his tires, Samuel. This is it. You got what you got to the finish.
He's worked so hard to get by that of Suggs, and now Marquette, he's got to back up with this group. Because of the battling between the 233 machines, it's given an opportunity. Brooks going to be in the white and red, 33. Suggs in the black and red, 33. And then in the white 16 behind him is that of Dustin Marquette. These 3 drivers, they're all trying to catch up to the 72 of Ryan Kuhn, who's going to be almost a full second ahead of these 3 drivers right now. And Wesley, Justin Brooks was going to be able to run down the 72, but could Kuhn have been just playing some mind games and being patient with his tires?
Connell in the top 5, 2.4 seconds back to the leader. The top 4 are separated by 1.5 seconds. That's Bomberken. Suggs and Brooks are now just less than over a second back. Ryan Kuhn now looks like he's trying to conserve. In doing so, he loses ground. The interval pulls in with Brooks now trying to close in on Ryan Kuhn as they work the back straightaway.
Less than 50 laps to go. We started this race with 26 drivers. We're now down to just 8 on the lead lap, and just that of 10 that are on the track. And it's Ryan Kuhn leading the way for the 72 machine by almost a full second over Justin Brooks. And Brooks, Kuhn, 2 drivers that qualified in our top 3. It was Kuhn who qualified second. Brooks qualified in third before they got inverted, placed back in 9th and 8th position. Once we went green for our 200-lap featured event, they've marched, they've climbed, they've been a part of all the struggles in Wesley. After the whole entire calamity and big wrecks during stage 1 and stage 2, these 2 drivers, it's surprising to see how clean their cars are. Here's Connell back in 5th place, though.
Smart driving for the machines of these guys. Here comes Connell's car. He had some problems earlier. He's now in a very comfortable position in the top 5. Suffice to say, don't want to jinx anything, Samuel, but if these guys can stay where they're at right now on the racetrack, we might see this thing go to the finish. However, I really believe we're not done yet. There's going to be some aggression here, but the question is, have they used up their tires to try to run down Ryan Kuhn? That's what we've got to watch now is for the last 5 laps. Working now 40 to go. The interval is still a second back with Brooks on Ryan Kuhn, the leader.
And everyone's starting to space out from one another. It is pretty much equal distance. It's got yourself about 0.9 seconds difference between first and second. Then it's a half a second between second and third, half a second between third and fourth, and all as well, half a second between that of 4th and 5th. Connell, he is running similar lap times to our leader. The issue, he's 2.5 seconds back, but 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, they're losing ground to that of Kuhn, and I think it might have been Wesley as yellow flag strikes.
Caution is out. This will bundle up the field here with 37 laps to go, Samuel. We weren't expecting this, and now this changes everything.
Like it's been the last 3 or 4 yellows, 2 lap cars racing for nothing, taking each other out. It's going to be that of Brinkley and also the 09 of that Austin Teal. Going to be those 2 drivers bringing out the late yellow. I know people in the chat wanted an entertainment yellow. Well, you got it. It's the 09 and the 12 bringing out the late yellow with less than 40 laps to go.
Man, you got to remember, watching here on this replay, watch these cars coming off the corner. Yeah, Samuel, it looks like maybe there's a little aggression here, and yeah, there it is. Even these guys that are a lap down, back marker cars, they're, whoa.
I mean, it's just
shut the door on him there.
Yeah, I mean, it's silly racing between 2 drivers that are multiple laps down, and it doesn't make sense on why it came out the way that it did. But 2 drivers are racing for nothing now, going to be causing a yellow, and hey, why not bring out the drama and the flair, as it's going to be putting these drivers, our top 9 drivers are going to be racing for this thing. There are 9 drivers on the lead lap, I should say, but only about, I would say, 6 of them, our top 6 are the only ones that are in raceable conditions to try to go for a win. Maybe only our top 5, as Roberts was looking strong at one moment, but his tires kind of started to fall off there. And the last about 15 laps, Connell was looking good, back in 5th place. This is giving the 13 another chance.
Man, Samuel, where are we going to? Obviously, New Smyrna tonight, or last week was New Smyrna Speed Weeks. The triple 35s tonight is, of course, the Thunder Road Harley-Davidson 200 here at South Boston Speedway. Round 1, by the way, the Virginia Triple Crown. Round 2 coming up, I believe it's going to be, I think we're flip-flopping. I think Easter Bunny 150 is next weekend at Hickory. Then you've got June 1st, Langley, Southern National, Myrtle Beach, though not here anymore. I think that's really cool, man. I'm loving these racetracks. And the thing is, Samuel, with the exception of Myrtle Beach Speedway, now dormant, and I did many races at that place. Such an awesome facility. So cool that iRacing can at least let you have some type of memories of excitement on that 5/8 mile. These are real crown jewel events across the Mid-Atlantic Southeast.
Yeah, I mean, that's the main thing. I mean, if it wasn't called the Crown Jewel, I don't know why we wouldn't be going to the Crown Jewel events, the short track racing. It wouldn't make sense for the title, but it puts on, the test for these drivers, racing at these tracks, giving your best effort on how well you can get this thing done. Well, the drivers are set. We got that late yellow the audience wanted. Let's see, as we're coming up to 30 laps to go, Ryan Kuhn, Brooks, Suggs, Marquardt, Roberts, as well as Cottle. Who's going to get it done here at South Boston? Down into turn number 3. Single file out for our front 2, but it's the battle for 3rd. Suggs, Marquardt, they're still on it.
So as they come to 31 to go this time by, Samuel, another thing to think about is that with the heat of the day and the crazy track temperatures, that caution allowed them to try to let those tires rebuild. You saw where getting sideways was Brooks. He was starting to get sideways. He's got a shot down to try to get back after it. Marquardt now after Suggs for 3rd out of 2.
Yeah, if we're going to see a wreck, though, watch out for the 13 and the 27. They finally get cleaned up. There was hard contact between themselves out of turn 4, but it's side by side for this third place position. Going to be Marquardt, Suggs still side by side. Marquardt wanting to get a 3rd win here this season out of the 4 races that have been ran. Last week at New Smyrna, we had 3 35-lap races, and it was Dustin Marquardt getting 2 of the 3 wins. Looking to get another one here tonight, but it is a struggle trying to get by Suggs. Really, it's looking like it's going to be that of Brooks, Kuhn that are going to be our 2 favorites once this duel finally gets cleaned up.
Tonight, if you will, for the Thunder Road Harley-Davidson has been the survival of the virtual fittest. Here comes Marquardt down to the inside. Roberts, someone correction, Suggs up the racetrack. He's there. This is for 3rd. Ready to pounce is Cottle, and Roberts also trying to make it a 4-car battle for 3rd out of 4.
I just feel bad for that Cottle. I mean, he's quick, but he's got nothing to do. He's stuck between, watching this battle and watching the leaders pull away. Now, for that of Marquardt and Suggs, they are 0.3 seconds back, almost a full 1.5 seconds off of our leaders, just gap-wise. And Suggs still holding strong on the outside, but with how hard they've been battling, they're just losing ground on one another. But Suggs gets a little loose there, holds on for the 33 machine here, gives Marquardt another opportunity.
Remember that movie Days of Thunder, running 50 laps like I want you, 50 laps like I want you to. Give me an honest run. If you do, I'm going to beat you. The tire battle here. And those tires are getting slicker and slicker and slicker as they rubber up the racetrack, Samuel. It is causing these cars to get handily wicked loose as Marquardt goes to the inside of Brett Suggs for 3rd out of turn 4. They're dirt tracking it. They're making contact in the stripe.
Trying to get on the throttle too soon was the 16. He drifted up, making contact slightly with the 33. And Cottle was feeling that excitement. He knew it was go time. He tried to follow the 16, but that just clogs up everyone behind Marquardt, and now puts Cottle into a risk of Roberts trying to take that position. And now the chaos is on. Every position matters. Even this one, Wesley, this is for 3rd place. Cash is still on the line for this position.
That's right, money on the line for the top 3 on the podium, and I think Marquardt, Suggs knew it. Here comes Cottle now. He gets some run, he gets turned, he got sideways, he saves it. He had help from the outside lane. Clear air saved the 13 from getting collected with the Roberts 27, and the race goes on as we're coming to 20 to go out of 4.
There's been times where we've seen Roberts in that 27 get aggressive, try to bump someone out of the way. This is going to be his best opportunity, trying to get Marquardt and just move and then try to go after the 33. 20 laps to go. The battle for the lead really not a presence. It's a 0.5 second difference between Ryan Kuhn and Brooks. But this is where it all matters. The final $50 for 3rd place. That's why this battle is so hot and heavy, and it matters so much for that of Suggs and Marquardt.
And remember when Cottle slipped, it allowed the machine of Roberts, Cullen Roberts, to get by him to move down to the number 4 position. Cottle falls, correction, 5th. Cottle fell back to 6th. The leader is still Ryan Kuhn, but we're watching this battle on board with Dustin Marquardt up on the outside. The Canadian trying to take it to the driver from the Race City, USA, inner number 33. Brett Suggs clears him now, but how long can he hold on, Samuel? He has got to get down to the bottom of the racetrack. He cannot keep driving the top side.
The big thing is, can Marquardt get underneath that of the 33 of Suggs? Just not looking like it right now as we look back on that rear left camera and seeing what Roberts going to try to force the issue. He hasn't yet, but we know with 10 laps to go, you got to be making these big moves now, especially if you make some contact, you bring out a yellow flag. That about 5-6 laps you're gifting away if a yellow flag flies. So your opportunities, they're shrinking if you want to be making a big move, bump someone out of the way, and take that position.
Back straight away now. It's time for 15 remaining. The battle still continues for the number 3 position. It's Brett Suggs up on the outside lane. Rocket Racing setups the entry down to the inside. Here comes the McConey setup shops. Number 16 of Ontario, Canada's two-time winner already on the series at New Smyrna last week, Marquette. While that goes on, Samuel, as we said, things have settled down for positions number 1 and 2. Ryan Kuhn and Justin Brooks, they're just riding right now.
Yeah, Ryan Kuhn going to be almost a full second gap lead over that of Justin Brooks. Brooks did a great, fabulous job to move himself up to second before the last yellow that came out. And now for Brett Suggs, what a clinic for that 033 machine, for himself to be placed on the outside, had to defend, pressure, and hold off one of the strongest drivers of that of Dustin Marquette. He's done it for now, but there's still 11 laps, come to 11 laps to go here at South Boston. You never know when someone might just send it and say, you know what, I'm taking this position away.
Gotta wonder when somebody's finally gonna say, I've had enough, and give him that chrome horn, that bump, if you will. Or we might see a driver lose control coming out of the exit of the corner, Samuel, because they have used up all their tires. This strategy could be bold. It's 10 laps remaining now. Kuhn out in front. There's the battle of third. And now Suggs has got a good, comfortable lead interval on Marquette as they work on 4.
Yeah, this is the battling for third place. It's on screen right now. Our 2 leaders, they are gone. They're checked out. It's a 3-second gap between Ryan Kuhn back to that of Brett Suggs. And we keep our eye on Marquette. The main reason why, Wesley, is because this league has already proven tonight, last week, hey, if there's cash on the line, if there's any type of argument or tempers, drivers are willing to get dirty. And Mixie and Connell gets an opening. He's going to be making the pass here for 5th place, potentially for the 13, as we're coming to 7 laps to go for our leader.
7 laps to go now for this custom fix setup series here for round number 3.
Contact.
Next week at Hickory. Oh, we got some contact there. That was the 27 of Robert, Samuel. And you see the interval, how much ground he lost.
He lost the ground, and also Connell losing ground and gives that 5th place position to English. He's now going to be moving up to 5th place, and English going to be having a little bit of a bumper as he's got that of Brinkley on his back bumper, and that's the lap car between the 16. They might get aggressive here. Brinkley wants to go take that inside lane.
Whoa!
Contact spins around. We stay green, and oh my goodness, once again, a lap car almost bringing out the yellow.
Another opportunity for lap traffic to cause a caution, but they said no harm, no foul. We're going to keep it stream. We're staying green, no stopping things. Ryan Kuhn is the leader. There you see the 60 machine now. That's English's car. All the way now with 3 laps to go to the finish of this race next time around. And all the while, these lap cars starting to become and give the leaders a fit, if you will, Samuel, down the stretch.
3 laps to go for Ryan Kuhn, the 72, having that of a 1.1 second lead over Justin Brooks. And Brooks, he's done everything he can. He's thrown the kitchen sink and more, but the tires just could not last. 2 laps to go here, Wesley, for Ryan Kuhn.
Yeah, you got Ryan Kuhn in his own little world. He's happy where he's at right now, down the back straightaway. Here comes now Brooks. He's happy now. He just ran out of tires, I think. Suggs as well, holding off Marquette and Cottle. Time runs out. CRN 1 to go. Final time here at South Boston.
Ryan Kuhn, the 72, he got pushed back to 9th place. He was qualified for 2nd, but because of the invert, he had to fight his way through traffic, survive the damage, survive the chaos, and out of turn number 4 for the Virginia Triple Crown, it goes to the 72 of Ryan Kuhn.
So Ryan Kuhn will pick up the win. He will now become the 3rd different winner of the Crown Jewel E Late Model Stock Car Series. Of course, 2 wins for Dustin Marquette at New Smyrna. Winner also last Wednesday night, and now you add on Ryan Kuhn. And I'll say this, Samuel, he had to fight for it. That wasn't something that he just dominated and took away.
Yeah, he really did have to fight for it. And I think the big thing that helped Ryan Kuhn was the fact that he had that of English as well as Alex McCullum. On the last set the stage break, they both stayed out on damaged vehicles and stalled out the rest of the field, allowing Ryan Kuhn to pull away, save those tires for the long run while everyone else was fighting it out, trying to take every position possible burning up those tires. So the 72 had the advantage at the end and overall just had the better pace.
And now the celebration begins as drivers do at racetracks all across America, and that is take the proverbial Polish victory lap. Of course, that is when they drive in the backwards direction created by the 1992 NASCAR Winston Cup champion from Wisconsin, Mr. Alan Kulwicki. And you see that at tracks across America, Samuel. What an awesome race. Ryan Kuhn, he earned this event. Obviously, I was disappointed in the first 55 laps with some of these guys. A lot of aggressive driving, not much give and take there, given so many good cars got taken out of the race, destroyed. But the final, what if you want to say, the final 11 or 12 cars that made it to the third and final stage, those were the ones that were the smart drivers. And though they might have had a little bumping and banging along the way, they were the ones that earned the right to make it to the finish line.
That they certainly did. As we take a look at our unofficial results, it's going to be that of Ryan Kuhn taking the win here this evening by 2.5 seconds over Justin Brooks. Brett Suggs going to be taking also the podium. Top three all getting cash. Kuhn taking $150. $100 goes to second place in Brooks, and $50 going to Suggs. As Dustin Mombercat just not close enough to make that pass for third place, with that of Cottle, English, Beatty, as well as that of Roberts, Leclerc, and Teal going to be your top 10 here this evening.
Drew Cox will finish that 98 machine. Couple of controversial times for him in the 11th position. Pole car, Alex McCollum from Phillipsburg, New Jersey, will have to settle for 8th. Jake Silva, 13th. 12th for McCollum. Blaze Brinkley, another real late model racer, 14th. Brad Carpenter, 15th. Preston DeMello is 16th. Rocky Boyd, the 3rd. Tough breaks for him. Alex Grayetz, as well as Shane Williamson. And Samuel, let's be honest here as we go into the rundown. He had a really strong car, had a retaliation from Magnum Tate, and that pretty much put him on the trailer in the top 20.
Yeah, and from there on out, I mean, you got the rest of the drivers that were just innocent victims of those shenanigans that were being placed down. I mean, you got Connor Jones going to be in 21st position, Jake Pace, as well as Devin Schillenberg, that of Dalton Collins, James Curl, who was looking for some speed. And those were your 25 drivers that started here tonight. Then we also had race control, that of Brad Wilson, as well as Ruggles going to be your race control for this evening, trying to facilitate the madness that happened here tonight. Well, those are your unofficial results. Ryan Kuhn's going to be getting your victory here this evening. But the show here tonight on LSRTV is not over. Stick with us. We got ourselves the post-race show for the Crown Jewel LMSC series here tonight. Talk to our top three: Ryan Kuhn, Justin Brooks, and third place finisher, that of Brett Suggs. We'll be back in just a few. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, here for the post-race show for the Crown Jewel LMSC series here for the Virginia Triple Crown event at South Boston. We got our top three up in the booth with Wesley and myself, as we do have that of Brett Suggs going to start things off. Third place finisher for that 033 machine. Brett, you certainly had a war to battle there late here tonight. You had to hold off that of Dustin Marquette. How was that duel, though, at the end of this race for yourself?
Yeah, it was some really good racing, and anytime Dustin and I are side by side, I can trust the racing with him that it's going to be clean and aggressive for sure. But no, it was a heck of a battle. I just fired off very free on that last run there, and I could tell Dustin was pretty loose too. So I was kind of trying to use that to my advantage. But at the same time, anytime I try to pinch him down a little bit lower, it broke me a little bit sideways. So just trying a lot of different line approaches to get that drive off, and luckily I think probably around 15 to go we were able to finally clear him and then kind of pull away and maintain the gap to hang on to third.
Hey Brad, it's so good to talk to you again, man. It's been a while. Of course, you're a real race car driver yourself. First time I met you was through the Allison Legacy Series and running the summer shootouts and whatnot. It's been that, 2 or 3 years ago, so it's been a while. This is a question in regards to real racing, using iRacing as a tool. Running at South Boston or Langley or Southern National on the sim in this series, does that help you when you're actually on the real racetrack?
I'd say a little bit, maybe not necessarily for which line you're going to run, because iRacing kind of has a different approach with the tires and the track surface and everything, but just some of the basic techniques of hitting your marks and being smooth. I think those can certainly translate over, and as well as getting familiar with the track. Like I said, not really the line per se, but kind of seeing how the surface works. I think there's certainly some benefits for iRacing to IRL racing.
I mean, Brett, it was certainly a long night, especially for the first stage and stage 2, with the amount of cautions that were bubbling up from some of the aggressive racing. How much of that aggressive racing, though, was kind of making you nervous around some of the drivers that you were racing around in the early portions of this race for yourself?
Oh, it was wild, man. I got a little nervous when we had that big pile up. Just looked like some guy wasn't happy that he got the favor returned to him for the lead. And then he went up on a rampage and tore up half the field. So we almost got caught up in that, but luckily I just backed it down. Unfortunately lost my track position from coming to a dead stop, but kept the car clean, so that was what I was most concerned with. But yeah, there was a lot of over aggression. We kind of saw the same thing last week in New Smyrna. Granted, those were 35 lap races, but just people need to settle down a little bit. We got a long race, 200 laps, and you aren't going to win it on the first lap, let alone the 197th lap. You got to wait and be there at the end, and if you're wrecking out early, you're not going to do that.
Well, Brett, certainly a strong run for yourself, getting that $50 with finishing in third. Before we let you go, though, the floor is yours for any shout-outs.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out Cameron Ruggles and everybody behind the scenes putting on this league. It's turning into quite the fun time, so I'm really enjoying it, as well as the competition. I mean, this is, super high SOF, top split kind of racing, so real pleasure racing with the likes of Kuhn and Brooks and Marquette and just everybody up front, as well as everybody that supports our operation here on twitch.tv/PressX33. Everybody at Team 33 tuning into the streams, as well as PressX Racing Marketing, Rocky iRace Wraps for doing up this paint scheme, Racer Tees, McConey Setup Shop, The Shop, just everybody that supports our deal and keeps us going race to race.
That's going to be the 33 of Brett Suggs coming away with the third place finish. Congratulations and good luck going into next week.
Thank you.
As we go from 133 machine, we go to the other one where we got that of Justin Brooks up in the booth. Justin, you had we were talking to Brett about aggression. You had to make some pretty aggressive moves on your end to make some passes. But from your point of view, how was the racing there late?
The racing there at the end was pretty good. Definitely a lot better in the beginning. People are actually giving a little bit more room, but the only difference was everybody was a lot more sideways after taking that set of tires there, so it made it a little more hairy, but it was overall pretty good. I mean, I maneuvered myself through traffic. I think I restarted 10th there because of a miscue on pit road and drove up to second without touching a soul and just kept watching the guys battle my rear view when me and Kuhn were going for it.
And then the battle after that penalty on pit road, overshooting your pit stall, Justin, you had to begin your ascent to get to the front. Do you feel like that's what used up your tires by the time you had literally got up there? And this happened within a less of 20 laps, if you will. But by the time you got to where you needed to be, the second to try to get to Ryan Kuhn, was the tires gone?
Yeah, the tires are gone. And what actually happened on pit road, I actually unchecked my tires on accident before we pitted. So I went there and took only gas only and was just sitting there. And I was like, yeah, we got an issue here. So I had to come back in, take the tires, and then, like I said, I had to drive my, I don't want to say the word, I had to drive my rear end off just to get back up there. And them guys are really hard to pass, especially when you're not giving you too much room. Like, they're giving you just enough room, but not enough room, if that makes sense. So you got to sit there, be on your P's and Q's, and do the best you can getting through there. And by the time I got up to second, my tires are gone, and I heard from my crew chief that Kuhn took 2 tires on the stop, which helps tighten the car up, so that helped him out a good bit too. And when we fired off on that last restart, my right rear is gone. I mean, if we could have stayed on the same tires the entire race, I think I was good, because at the end of that second stage, I think it was lap 110, I was fast as hell. Like, I saved my tires the whole race, and if I could have saved it like that the second stint, I think we could have had something for him, but we were just on ice out there, so we're doing the best we could and just hoping for a caution to re-rack them, restack them.
I mean, Justin, again, another strong run. Last week you had some strong runs as well. Still looking for that win, but how much confidence does this give you, knowing, hey, I've had some very strong runs, potentially could have won these races if, strategies worked out for myself. How are you feeling for these next couple of weeks that are coming around?
Oh, I feel extremely confident. I mean, you gotta be confident coming into this, because if not, you're already defeated there. So I mean, you got the likes of Ryan Kuhn, you got Dustin Marburcat, Alex McCollum, Brett Suggs. There's numerous more fast short track drivers on here, and you gotta be like up there with them. You gotta push yourself every single lap without pushing too hard. I mean, so you got to be confident enough to know that you can do that, and confident enough to know you can race these guys and beat them. So I mean, we're pretty confident, especially after tonight. We had a lot of speed tonight. Just beat ourselves tonight, and it's all right. We'll put it in the memory bank. Know not what to do next time, and go for the win next time.
Well, you've proven that you got the speed to watch out for in these next couple of weeks. We can't see what action you put down, but before we let you go, the floor is yours for any shout-outs.
Yeah, thank you guys first and foremost. Thank everybody over at the Crown Jewel, Late Model Series, Cameron Ruggles, Caleb Hall, everybody behind the scenes, everybody at Wheel and Deal Motorsports, Kelly Boys, Brendan Lee, Hunter Harriet, all the guys that come on and hang out with us. And just thank iRacing itself, because if it went for iRacing, we wouldn't be able to have something to do like this.
That's going to be the 33 of Justin Brooks, coming away with a second place finish. Congratulations on that, and good luck coming up in these next couple of weeks.
Thank you, boys.
As now we head to victory lane, where we got Ryan Kuhn in the 72. Ryan, you qualified second. You got inverted. You got placed all the way back in 9th on the start of this 200-lap feature. And then the chaos struck. Give us your point of view of coming in through this field and the dominance once you got that lead.
Yeah, it was really all patience. I saw a lot of guys beating and banging, tearing their stuff up, But you can't really win one of these races with the nose hanging off. But, all in all, it was a fun race at the end there with Justin and Brett. I wish we could have fired off the race a little cleaner. Guys using each other up way too early. And, like I said, can't win the race with body panels hanging off the car. But the second half was really good. I really made a gutsy call there in the pit stop. Took 2 tires, and I luckily was able to work with Sean there in the restart. I trusted him. I was like, I don't know. Do I want to take the top? Do I want to take the bottom? Which lane's going to go? I know McCollum's on tires. He's not. I'm like, what do I do? So he got a good restart. Was able to clear him, and I was able to clear McCollum and get by Sean. And I really, really had to save my stuff there at the end to have tires left on the car, But I really think that's what won me the race, was really saving my stuff, taking care of it when they were about a second back. But all in all, good race, good ending, and yeah.
Hey, Ryan, it's so good to catch up with you again, my friend. It's been a while. Obviously, I used to follow you on the Sarah series and the success that you had with that program. And I think of you, and I think of the name Alex McCollum and Ryan Matthews and some of these other names. Cabry comes to mind. But you got a whole new list of drivers here, and that was a super late model series. This is late model stock cars. What's your take of this series so far, the Crown Jewels, besides the calamity of wrecking so early on attrition and being able to run these cars differently?
Yeah, I think people have been being hard on Cameron and Caleb, but I think they're doing a hell of a job. I just think the drivers I don't know what they're doing. But they're being so hard on them, and I feel bad for them because it's not their fault. It's really not. But they're really putting all the blame on them, and it's not their fault. They're doing a great job. It's just unfortunate the first couple of races. I was race control the first 3 shows, and I had to yell at them, and it was not pretty. But hopefully we'll get it cleaned up here shortly, and I'll work with Cam and Caleb and see if we can really get this series rolling.
Ryan, I know that is a frustration these last week and this week with the over-aggression and kind of blatant wrecks that have been happening. But how much promise is there that you're kind of seeing once those wrecks get out of the way? How great the racing has been after that.
Oh, it's been great. After you get the guys that are just tearing their stuff up early out of the way, and the second half is always really clean. You got the guys who've kept the nose clean, and the same guys that keep the nose clean every week. It's going to be a theme. So, but it seems like the same drivers every week are finishing, and some of the same drivers are DNF'd every week, and some of them not of their own doing, but at the same time, some of them are.
I know you want to see it get cleaned up. We want to see it cleaned up as well. But tonight, you get the cash, you get the victory. Congratulations on that. And before we let you go, the floor is yours for any shout-outs.
I'd like to give a big shout-out to RKM Setup Shop, my boys over there. They're doing a great job, giving me great feedback all season, making the setups really good. We've been pretty dominant in the short tracks. Everett's Auto Parts, Brenner's Liquors, Modern Auto Body, Coastal Heritage Bank. You guys up in the booth. Cam and Caleb for helping out tonight. I might be back on race control duty here in a couple weeks, but all in all, I'd like to thank everyone who's helped me become to where I am today.
You certainly put on a great show here tonight. Congratulations on your win, and for the times that you're out on track, good luck with them.
Thank you guys, appreciate it.
That is going to be your victor here tonight for the Virginia Triple Crown, that of Ryan Kuhn in the 72. What a run it was for himself. He got the lead, saved the tires, and no one ever had a chance. Wesley, we had 200 laps. We got to see a little bit of qualifying also before that, but once it got cleaned up, got to say this racing was fun to call and watch there at the end.
Yeah, and you follow the sentiments of all of these drivers like Ryan Kuhn, Suggs, and Roberts, and they all said the same thing. Great racing, good competition down the stretch, but man, we got to do something about this aggressive driving. Okay, here's the deal. I know it's not real racing. I know it's the virtual sim world, but it doesn't matter whether it's a virtual race or a real race. And I said this when we came on the air to the Keys to Victory, Samuel, to elaborate on. To first be at the end of the race, you must first finish. And there are some guys here that are in this series, and I'm looking on the outside looking in. It's just my first race in the booth. They've got to elaborate, they've got to evaluate things, and they've got to improve being so aggressive. There's got to be some give and take here. If we don't do that, we're going to end up with another 8 cars finishing the next race on the series next Wednesday night.
Yeah, we're hoping that gets cleaned up quickly, as Hickory is going to be the next destination for these drivers. And so we're hoping it gets cleaned up, especially because if the drivers don't recognize, we got to have some give and some take given throughout these long races. Next week could be a disaster for these drivers. It's a one-lane course that can get very hectic if not everyone is really not keeping to their P's and Q's for this race. But Wesley, before we get to the end of this thing and call it a night, what are some of your final thoughts here this evening?
Oh, and another thing to elaborate to that, Samuel, next week at Hickory is smaller than South Boston. You go to a 4/10 mile track from a half mile at New Smyrna. Next weekend at Hickory Motor Speedway is 3/10 of a mile, just shy of 3/8 of a mile. So, yes, that's going to be fun. Taking this evening, congratulations to Ryan Kuhn. I think it's awesome seeing real racers being able to be involved in esports series and taking advantage and enjoying it. And I just think a lot of these guys maybe had a bad night because of some rough driving, but down to the stretch, the best cars were there at the end. It was a battle of tires, saving tires, being there, holding them off, and that's what Ryan Kuhn did.
He certainly did, getting himself to victory lane, winning that of the Virginia Triple Crown this evening at South Boston. Well, the first half of this race, all the drivers wanted to put themselves in the junkyard. We saw a couple of Demolition Derby-like events happen. But at the end of the day, those final about 80 laps, it was clean green racing with a couple of yellows here and there, but it was Ryan Kuhn protecting those tires and getting to victory lane. It was a spectacular race, and we can't wait to see more amazing racing to be seen. But hey, there's more action to be seen here on LSRTV. Thursday night, we got the Northwest Truck Series going to be at Texas, and then also more racing action Friday night with LTAC, as well as going to be racing for Nazareth. We can't wait to see more of that racing action. If you don't come showing up for those events, hopefully we'll see you next week for more racing action for the Crown Jewel LMSC Series. We'll be at Hickory next week. Hopefully we'll see you then. For myself, Sam Dyer, for Wesley Outland, for LSR TV Studios, we'll see you next week.